Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Home and Away, a podcast devoted to all things in and around the world of sport in Kansas City soccer. I am Drew Vanderploeg, joined once again, as always, by my good friend Cody Welton. This week on the podcast, I had a lot of stuff prepared. It was a deep analysis on the game against San Jose on the weekend. It was not perfect. It was not great. They lost 3-1. It was the same scoreline as the game against RSL the previous weekend. But there were actual signs of progress. I could see the ideas and the goals of what Rafa Wicki was attempting with this team. You could see some of that actually being achieved, not for the entire game, but certainly for portions of the game, significant portions of the game. And I was really excited about the fact that we were not going to have to go through another week of being dour and dire and upset about the state of this team. And then they played an Open Cup match. Well, supposedly played an Open Cup match in Colorado Springs last night.
They were there.
They were there. They were in their jerseys. The team was there. They took their charter flight. They did not play soccer, and it was embarrassing. It was unbelievable. And this is not a slight on Colorado Springs. They came out ready to play, no doubt about it. Sporting did not.
No.
And it was one of the worst performances I can remember seeing this team play. And it's not just in comparison to the opponent, period.
Yeah.
And so we can't even start this podcast without discussing what happened last night. It was, I think I said in the Discord that it bordered on unprofessional. And this was, maybe 60 minutes into the game. That was before the Shapi Suleimanov incident happened. And it went to completely fucking unprofessional.
Yeah.
And I can't in good conscience talk through all the things in the rundown and we will get to them, I promise. We'll get to the other parts of the conversation. But I can't in good conscience even go into all that without us just getting through what happened. So I think I said it on social media. I think it is potentially the worst display I've ever seen from this team. I was not around watching this team regularly in the late 90s and the early 2000s. I think I've been clear about that. So I'm sure that there are some situations. Mike Kuhn brought up the 6-0 loss that got in Dallas that got Kurt Onalfo fired. That was a pretty bad day. I can't compare the two, and for my own mental health, I'm not going to go to try and find video of that loss to see if which one was worse. I don't really care. As far as I'm concerned and what I've seen, this was terrible. They couldn't pass. They couldn't possess the ball. They couldn't build out from the back. They couldn't press. They couldn't win a fucking duel. They couldn't counterattack. They couldn't ever look anywhere near like they were scoring a goal. It was like I've seen men's league teams with better cohesion and ability to connect with each other than this team had. I could not believe this is a professional soccer team that has been practicing together. It was unreal to me. And I'm just I'm venting a little bit here because I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be getting together with Cody every week and talking about how fucked this team is. That's not fun for us. That's not fun for y'all. That's not fun for anybody watching the team play. But I can't act like what happened last night didn't happen. I can't ignore it. And I don't know, man. I'm left just going then they got to play Vancouver on Friday. A team who is way fucking better than the Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see how that doesn't end in something even worse than this.
Well, I think that one of the things that makes it especially difficult is, in the other losses that we've had this year, there has literally always been some silver lining, right? There's been moral victories here and there. There's been, individual player development pieces that we could point out, or individual tactical pieces that we could point out that are at least encouraging. But none of that was on display last night. There's nothing positive to take away from that performance last night. Nobody played well. They looked like disengaged and unprepared. They looked like a lot of bad players who were being very poorly coached. And I don't know, like at this point, I don't know. I'm not ready to start advocating for a change in coach. Mostly because, David Lee, Mike Lee,
Why are you calling him Mike Lee again?
I don't know, because that's how mad I am. I'm gonna call him Mike Lee until he fixes this shit. David Lee has this is a problem partially of his making, and on the Discord, I think a lot of folks were rightly disparaging the talent and players, and also I think rightly pointing out the coaching issue, because that they did not in any respect resemble a well coached team last night. They did in the first half, especially on Saturday, in my opinion. But really, like this is, for two of the best players on the team, or allegedly best players on the team, LBJ and Kapita, this is essentially still their preseason, and that is like, that's
Boy, it
part of the
looked like it
problem,
for
right?
LBJ. Jesus
No,
fucking Christ.
I mean, yeah, this is a player that you and I both were really excited about coming
He's
in,
gotten
and
progressively worse every week.
he has,
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
and two, the team has gotten worse since he joined the team, and I think that there are some within that statement. I think that there are some hints as to maybe what's going on, but they're only hints. I mean, we don't know for sure, and he certainly doesn't look great. And I think Capita looked okay in the minutes that he got over the weekend. I don't think he did anything to really move the needle for me last night. But again, nobody did. And so like as I was saying, like this is preseason for those players, which means it's preseason for the team, because those are two supposedly of the more talented players on the team. And so we're 6 games into it, and we're like basically still playing preseason style, and still being coached preseason. And I think that is, when we talk about LBJ joining the group, that is part of the thing, is that I think that Wiki changed the formation, and maybe the intent of the team a little bit when that player joined, in order to probably utilize what he saw as that player's strengths, and it's just really not working. Either the players around him are not good enough to make use of him, or maybe he's just not the player that we thought he was, or that Wiki might think that he is. But something's not working. It's just not, and he's not having a positive effect on the game. And for a player of his stature and at that position, you really kind of need that. And it was just really evident last night, without Manu on the field. Like, they got nothing, man. Like, they really have nothing. And even previous to this, when we're talking about the midfield, and the lack of maybe ability or progress from LBJ, the lack of ability or progress from Jake Davis, those are real issues, and I think it's placed an outsized burden on the fullbacks to sort of be creative and help create chances in the attack. And like, if that's like the plan, like, these are not the fullbacks for that. And so right now we don't have the fullbacks for that. We don't have the midfield to do whatever the fuck they were trying to get the midfield to do. And couple that with the fact that the defense is still just a dumpster fire, and it's just like, what are we doing? What's the plan here? Because I don't know. I mean, I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts and what you think the plan is, because I have some thoughts of what I think the plan might be, and maybe some ideas about why it's not coming to fruition yet. What do you think?
First thing, I wanted to, back up to your original point about the fact that we've been we've been, searching for it and trying to find silver linings week to week, because as I noted at the hit, we don't want to sit here and just bathe in the dismay and the despair that is this soccer team. I mean, there are enough people out there pointing out the fact that they are at a historically bad pace from an XGD perspective, from a chance creation perspective, like the worst team ever since they've started taking those measurements. That is the pace that this club is on right now. We don't need to remind everyone of that. So, like, we have been trying to find those silver linings. But we're also carrying water for this shit fucking team while we're doing it, because they are terrible by all of the underlying numbers, like really fucking bad. And we've been providing context to make you think that, hey, maybe there's something here. And I swear to God, I put this on social media as well. I swear to God, I looked at the numbers for the San Jose game and rejoiced in the fact that the expected goal differential in that game was under 1 for the first time all season, as a sign of progress. That they got the expected goal differential underneath 1 for a game. That was a sign of progress for this team. So while we are looking for those silver linings, because no fan of this team wants to listen to how bad they are historically bad. So we have to also, sort of reckon with that fact. When it comes to what they're trying to do, what I saw against San Jose and what I think I saw against Colorado were similar tactics, they didn't. They did different things against Colorado. So San Jose, they abandoned the building out of the back against pressure. They would look like they were going to build out of the back. Pulskamp would hoof it long, which sort of didn't matter because they couldn't win a second ball. But they were sort of intent on keeping the ball away from their defensive third as much as humanly possible, which I can sort of get with. Makes sense. This defense is fucking buns. And while I saw some stuff in Ian and Borges on Saturday that I think could turn into a good center backs eventually, they're not there yet. And, given one of them is still a literal child, we need to be realistic about those expectations. And the other one has 14 first-team professional appearances in his life. We need to be realistic about the experience that they need to really turn into that type of player. But regardless, in the meantime, defense sucks. So keep the ball out of your defensive third. And if you're going to allow it into your defensive third, only allow it up the wings. Right? That was what they were doing against San Jose. Against Colorado, they started trying to play out of the back again, and they just got fucking run over, dude. It was unbelievable. I've never seen a team
by a USL team.
By a USL team. And this looks like a team that has literally zero ball progression patterns. I've never seen a team so unclear about where they're supposed to pass to.
Well, so I think that there are patterns. I just think that nobody's on the same page about what the patterns are or what pattern they're supposed to be hitting at the time, because they're hitting blind balls into the center of the field, and there's no one there, or they're behind somebody or in front of somebody, and they can't even hit passes to wide open players. I watched Jake Davis just pass the ball literally out of bounds, and the guy was 15 feet away from him last night. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? This is not a difficult pass. And you weren't
Jaden
under
Reed
pressure.
Back passed it to Borges,
yeah,
but not. He ended up back passing it to the opponent who kicked it home for a goal, and it was a 6-yard pass.
Yeah.
To your point, if these fullbacks are the ones that are meant to help create offensive chances, which at some level, and Doyle brought this up a little bit, I think, in his article today, if you read Doyle's newsletter, he brought up the mindset around how to build a team in MLS. And the fact that wingers are really fucking expensive, it's hard to have 4 legitimately good wingers on an MLS team under the salary cap, that you go with wing backs because they're cheaper, and then inside forwards and second forwards and such are not as expensive as well. It's a better way to construct your team with a cap, so you use wing backs. If that's what they're meant to be doing with this team, they need different guys because these are not wing backs.
No, they're not. I think that I think that these are players who were bought to be either bridge or developmental players to play sort of a run of the mill 4-3-3 with wide fullbacks. Like, I think that is kind of that's the profile that those players seem to fit in. But the problem
don't you need
is
guys that
not,
can cross then? Don't
right,
you need
so
fullbacks that can cross?
That's the problem, is they are not starting quality players for sure. And so when you look at the squad construction aspect of it, either you're bringing in players who are you're purposefully bringing in players who are stopgap or developmental type players because you're planning on spending money on starting quality players later on, or you're counting on those players to develop by placing them around experienced veteran European holding midfielders, but that ain't happening. Like, that's not working. And so that's kind of why I brought up the sort of the formation switch. This team was playing better when they played with three central center backs. And they were more difficult to break down. They covered for each other's weaknesses, I think, a little bit better. And so if they're going to try and move to playing four at the back and a single pivot, like shit's got to get better really quick. And it might have to be, you just have to get better players in there because these guys just are not it.
Well, and maybe that was the most heartwarming thing about Jacob Bartlett's performance on Saturday, as I saw a ground covering 8 that was providing
he was great.
Support.
And he hit a through ball in the first half, like on the ground, a through ball that basically cut out 2 lines worth of San Jose's defense, and that's something that we haven't seen from him. Like that kind of like next level, progressive pass that involves some creativity and some some vision. So I was really impressed with, as you were overall, with his level of performance on Saturday, but that didn't, for some reason, carry over to
but this is 20-year-olds in their second professional season playing a difficult position. You're going to expect some waves in performance, right?
Sure.
Every week's not going to be like, he's not Adri Mehmeti. And even Mehmeti has had ups and downs. Now, granted, his downs aren't as bad as Bartlett's, and his highs are much higher. But Adri Mehmeti, if he keeps playing like this, is going to play for Real Madrid one day. Like, that's how good this fucking guy is. That's how good he looks right now at age 16. So like, there are levels to this. Whereas Jacob Bartlett, I think his ceiling is high quality, squad player in MLS. And I think he can get there, right? I do think he can get there. You can see that the player is there, and you can see why Rafa Wiki persists on putting him in every fucking game, because there is a player there that is getting better. It was hard to see at first, but I saw it against San Jose, and I believe that player still exists, and it's not an aberration. Because he couldn't be doing the things he was doing. I watched him in the rewatch very closely, and he's checking his shoulder constantly. He's constantly scanning. Like, that was always a big issue I had with Bartlett, is that his head wasn't moving enough. He wasn't aware of his surroundings enough. And I've said this over and over and over again. One of my favorite visuals of all time is the vision cone, and they strap it to Messi's head or De Bruyne's head or somebody like that, and you see that fucking thing just swivel constantly, right? They're constantly scanning the field. They're constantly looking for what's going on. And I saw Bartlett doing some of that. And I'm like, okay, it's starting to get through. The game is starting to slow down. He's able to look. He's able to check. He's able to fade into the right areas. You're starting to see that sort of sink in. And then we come to Tuesday, and I'm left with this absolute shit show that we have to discuss. And it's just kind of frustrating. It is really frustrating because we did see some progress. And then it just seems like one step forward, like 4 steps back. And that's the part that just was really difficult to reckon with.
Well, and in Bartlett's defense, everybody was bad last night. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm not pointing at Bartlett specifically. I think there were players that were much worse than him in this game. I think that they just. So to Wiki's point, he said in the post game press conferences that they weren't up for it. Isn't that kind of your fucking job, dude?
Yep.
Now, I understand you're coaching like 4 semi-prime veterans and a bunch of kids. Like, that is basically the makeup of this roster. Maybe 5, I guess, if you include. I always forget about Shoppy. I just try to forget Shoppy exists.
He keeps reminding us, though, doesn't he?
Does.
He does
he
not.
Really does.
That he does exist, indeed.
And it's usually not good when he reminds us.
It's usually not good.
So 5, pseudo veteran in prime players, and then a bunch of kids. And so there's going to be like some not understanding the moment or being up for the moment kind of shit going on there. I get that, but that is why you bring in a coach who knows how to develop and bring youth players along.
Right.
Like that was his charge coming in here.
We were told all along that was part of the reason he was hired, and that was part of a significant part of his skill set was youth development. But when you develop young players, they have to actually get better, right? That's kind of the thing, and many of these players do not seem to be getting better.
Yeah.
And
I'm just gonna. I know. Maybe the collective is so bad that it's hard for one of them to get better. Like, I don't know. Like, you need to be in an environment where you can improve. Like, I mean, I do think that there is a concept here where if the team's so bad, how does the player improve? Right? It is a legitimate like question and a concern, because there is a part of playing soccer well that is confidence related. There is a part of it that is your mental state and your ability to sort of get in flow state and operate well. It's very fucking hard to get there when you're losing 4 games in a row. Yeah. And you're not coming close to winning.
And we've addressed that in the past on this podcast. This, the idea that you don't just throw young kids out there. You surround them with competent veterans and let them learn that way. That's the best way to develop young players. This is not it, right? And so, in some respect, there is a little bit of a built-in, excuse there that we don't have those established veterans. We traded one away to Toronto, and he seemed to do okay over the weekend, so good for him. But who else is on the team, right? I mean, you see how bad the team looks without Manu exerting his influence in the run of play on the field. Decky is not that guy. He doesn't touch the ball enough, even in the best circumstances, to be that guy. And so then I think that the idea was hopefully that you bring in LBJ and he becomes that guy. To this point, he doesn't seem to be that kind of leader profile, either in terms of the influence he exerts through his footballing or in the way that he deals with his teammates. I'm not picking up that vibe from him, and we picked up that vibe from players like Eric Tommy, for instance, almost immediately. Just being the guy, showing people what they need to do, pushing. And I don't see there does seem to be a leadership vacuum on the team right now, and that's probably part of the problem.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It certainly is. And I think the part of this is also what Roger's supposed to be doing on the coaching staff, although I don't know how his role has changed since Wiki has taken over in that regard. But you're right. That's real. And it's hard to see how this improves in the short term. I think you are absolutely correct that the players that are playing starting minutes for this team on the back line right now were never meant to be regular starters on this back line.
It's hard
But
to
they
imagine
are,
how if they were, then there are
yeah,
other
right,
more serious issues
right.
we have to think about.
Which leads to the secondary conversation about your buddy Mike Lee, David Lee's success or lack of success in getting enough players on this roster for the beginning of the season, and as such, we're sort of left to try to unpack if this stuff means anything, or if as fans of this team we are just gonna have to just eat it until the summer. And then
Yeah,
probably a little bit after that, honestly, because I don't know how much is going to be solved. Even with new players, it's again integrating them, trying to get them on board, trying to build rapport again. It's just all of the same fucking things that we're struggling with right now are going to continue to be a problem. And I it just sucks because we're in game what 7? We played 7 games now, and it looks like the whole fucking year's lost already.
It does, and it feels that way. Like it feels that way as a fan that like, oh, here we go again. Like this is this sucks. And I
mean,
think that
Jansen Miller continues to play meaningful minutes for this team and is not an MLS defender. I'm sorry.
so that's the funny thing, right? Is that they went out and signed 4 or 5 different center backs, and they all still suck, right? That's, I mean,
Well,
we
they signed
think
they signed the trialists that they
right.
had to come in to play center
Hey,
back. They didn't actually go sign a center back. The one player they signed was Borges, and I think you can see why they signed him, but he's also a U22. He's 21 years
yeah,
old with limited
yeah,
experience, and he
yep,
looks like it, right?
sure,
But you can see the guy in there. He was not good against Colorado Springs, but you could see against San Jose like why he was signed, right?
yep.
Um,
So
the
this was one of the things that was really frustrating. When we were, during the latter stages of the winter window, when it was clear that that they were sitting on their hands and not signing all the players that needed to be signed. One of the things that we talked about is the fact the lack of international roster spots, and it's like, oh well, I don't know why we're not using the GAM to do cash furs and sign MLS veteran types. And let me tell you, like the back line and the midfield specifically would really benefit from some MLS, 26 to 28-year-old journeymen, like just guys who know the league and know how to play, and who maybe don't have a high ceiling, but who have a rock solid floor, and you can count on them day in and day out to give you a certain level of performance. That if you would have signed, 2 midfielders and 2 defenders, or 1 midfielder and 3 defenders who were that sort of profile of player, the team would be a lot more competitive. They still wouldn't be good, but
Diego Fagundes was available all the way until the goddamn season started.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that he would solve this team, but he is a veteran player that would provide them some sort of attacking quality
He knows
some
the
sort of
assignment.
consistency. Yeah, exactly.
He knows.
He's played with a number of good teams, and the Revs got him, signed him back, and he's not playing very much for them. But you wouldn't expect him to. But on a team like this, you think there would be value in that. Supposedly, the news: Tom Bogert comes back from paternity leave this week to let everybody know that supposedly Sporting actually tried to get Kevin Sullivan on a short-term loan, which was kind of an interesting choice. I don't hate it, but I'm also like, are we trying to build a grade school team? Like, what is going on here? Like, I think what this team needs more of is adults in the room and less, U22s. But whatever, at least it shows that there was an attempt made to try to add some, at least, bodies of quality to the roster. But there was opportunity to do transactions within the league. I do have concerns in the fact that Lee has not been one that has often done that. Like at NYC, they weren't a team that was consistently doing those kinds of transactions, right? They have a lot of domestics, but a lot of them came from their own youth pipeline. They didn't come from intra-league transactions. The teams that have done that a lot are, just they're not NYC, and so there may be some level of concern that it is something he values or is adept at.
Yeah.
I don't know. You need relationships with the other GMs in the league to pull that kind of shit off. And I'm not saying that those guys don't talk to each other, but I mean, if you're not working with them regularly, it's difficult to build those relationships. So I don't
Well,
know.
and you can be successful without that, but you have to you have to do your
Well, then
shit.
you got to go sign
And
some fucking guys. Yeah, I mean,
that's the thing, right? That hasn't happened, and the long and the lack of signings in the winter window, and the sort of the lack of urgency, just it ratchets up the summer window even more, and it's like, it's just placing unnecessarily strain on everybody.
especially when your boss, the new owner, is like on social media, and I'm glad that everybody is getting to see this because Peter Maluk is very online. Okay, this is a guy that, I mean, as part of his business, he is on these business shows and such, and he's very active on LinkedIn, and he's also very active on Twitter, and so he sees when his name is mentioned.
Yeah.
And he responds, and he's already done it to several folks that are sporting fans that have like, hey, is he gonna try to invest in this, and are you seeing what we're seeing? And he's reacting to it, and it seems like he's gonna be pushing to fairly aggressively try to fix this in the summer, which is good at some level, right? You want to see that interest, and the interest of your majority owner in providing the resources and doing that. But it also means that if David Lee's got this grandiose plan of an 18-month like structure build, some of that shit might go out the window, and you might have to try to figure out how to do some business now. And that's something he's going to have to balance. But it's we expected some level of difficulty,
Suckage.
some lumps. Yeah, some level of it was expected. They were already fucking terrible last year and have gotten worse.
Yeah, that the team that was on the field last night is 100% a wooden spoon level team, even with Orlando doing Orlando things.
Not even wooden spoon, like the historically worst team in MLS
Yeah,
history.
they should get they should get relegated in a league that doesn't even have relegation. That's how bad they were last night.
Right. And these types of performances are becoming too common. I mean, this is the worst I've seen, but I've seen a lot of bad ones this year. And it has to be rectified in some way. And look, I can see Wiki's frustration over the last several press conferences about against Colorado and against RSL and then against Colorado Springs tonight or last night. You can see it on his face. He's got to figure it out. That's his job. He's got to figure out how to motivate these guys and keep them organized, because that's the biggest issue is they're just a disorganized mess. And man, it was just it looked like a U8 team just running around ball chasing.
Yeah. That is the way it looked last night. Like I did think they started the game on Saturday. There were some really nice organizational aspects that I noticed. Like their lines were really clean. They looked very, connected and very sort of narrow and compact defensively at the beginning of the game. They looked good. And then, as the game wore on, it just all went to shit. And And I think that is, again,
Well,
that speaks to that leadership
yeah.
vacuum. But it's even more than that. At 60 minutes on Saturday, they were cooked. They were tired. Like the whole team was tired after just an hour of soccer, and not having played, for a couple of weeks. And so like that was concerning to me because it was a beautiful night, and they shouldn't have looked that gassed, but they looked pretty gassed to me anyway. And so I'm just starting to develop some skepticism about their practice intensity, and because they just in addition to looking tired and easily gassed and not having stamina, they for the most part don't look up to the physical challenge. They are not being assertive in terms of being physical and in terms of imposing their will on teams, and so then what you get is you get a team that's being reactive and childish, and you get Jake Davis doing his little whatever it is he's doing, and you get Shoppy doing what he's doing, and
Right.
look, like channel that aggression and that tone into more of a front-footed posture. Don't be reactive, and don't get carried away with that kind of stuff on the back end. And I'm just like, I personally am ready for Jake Davis to be off the team. I think that he should be sold this summer. He is. His body language is just terrible.
It's gotten pretty bad this year. When he came on, it was interesting because when he came on in the San Jose game, so a couple things. One, there's a very specific thing that happened that turned the tables, and we'll get to that in a second. On my rewatch, it was pretty clear. I thought it was what it was. When I rewatched it, it was exactly what happened. But with Jake, he came on for Manu, and Manu looked really gassed. You come to find that he actually has been dealing with a knee problem all week, and it looked like it. Like his mobility was not the same against San Jose. But still, even with him having like not all his mobility, the midfield was way better than it was against Colorado with him gone. But Jake came on, and I thought was actually fairly bright when he came on the field. It was actually a positive. He obviously plays the role completely differently than Manu does, but there was a lot of interesting combination work that he does, which is different than how Manu plays. Manu is getting on the half turn, picking his head up and trying to pick out the next pass or the dribble. Jake is looking for 1-2 third man runs, things like that, which were starting to come off and look fairly decent. And then you're right, a couple things go the wrong way. They give up a third goal, and then he just turns into a shithead. And against Colorado, it was even worse.
Yep.
He's like a dog chasing a car and just looking for, and just like there was nothing about his game that was nuanced. There was nothing about his game that showed a guy who's got well over 10,000 minutes playing for this club at this point.
He's a veteran and one of the few on the team, and so his responsibility, the burden that he should be responsible for sharing is higher than a lot of the other people, I think, and he hasn't risen to the occasion.
I mean, I think it's noteworthy that the best the midfield has looked all year has been with him on the bench.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that this is like this isn't a Jake Davis witch hunt. I'm not trying to make it that, but I think it's noteworthy that happened. And the whole thing where he's barking at the player and spitting or not spitting at him, and all of that. You gotta. I understand that they're frustrated. I understand they're frustrated. I understand why they're frustrated. You know what? Fucking play better.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to.
You look like the fucking Real Madrid dickheads whining about the referee today.
Mm.
Play better.
Mm-hmm.
I have no fucking time for that shit. Like, none.
And neither does someone like Bruce Arena, and his team demonstrated that. Like those guys those guys were strictly business. They came out and, we talked about last week that like that is a team full of like just dudes, like just some like American dudes.
We got fucking wrecked by Jack Scan.
Right.
Come on, dude.
Right.
Like, you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like, come on,
No,
man.
that's not true. We got wrecked by Nico
Tsakiris,
who was absolutely fucking phenomenal.
And Tsakiris was fantastic.
Holy crap. Wow.
He's a real article. He looked good in the first game.
He looks
a bunch since then.
He does not look like an American number 10 that I've ever seen.
Remember
like,
when your boy was saying, "Hey, we should try to cash for him"? Was it U22 in the offseason? Because it doesn't look like San Jose is playing him. Boy, was I wrong about that shit.
Yeah,
they were ready to play him.
He looks like young Diego Valeri or some shit out there. Like, that's how good he looks. He is really. He was just controlling the game and bossing everything and fluid and all over everywhere. And, you contrast that to somebody like Jake Davis, who, when he came on was
3-4 years older.
And he's playing a similar position,
minutes,
and not doing it well. And we've talked about the challenges that Davis has faced that haven't always been of his own making, right? But dude, like you look at that example, you look at Bo LaRue, like those are guys who they know what their job is, and they come on and they do their fucking job, and that's that. Just do your job.
Speaking of being able to take instruction and complete it, so that's what I mean about Jack Scan. Calvin Harris gets hit in the head in like the 35th minute or something like that, and there's like a 5-minute delay while they're like taping up his head because he's bleeding all over the place. Right at that point in time, Bruce gathers all the guys around, gives them instruction, and he flips Yuseni Buddha and Jack Scan side to side. And, to that point, Justin Reynolds had Yuseni Buddha in a fucking locker. Like, he had done a great job just keeping him off the ball. When Buddha is playing on the left side, he's more of a wide target winger, right? He is, like, playing more as a wide winger. And Justin Reynolds just kept him against the sideline the whole fucking 35 minutes or so. And Reynolds had the speed to run with him when they tried to get to him over the top, and he just really negated him. Buddha was doing nothing in this game. They switched sides, and all of a sudden both wingers are inverting and going into the half spaces. Buddha starts to get a little bit more life inverting into the half channel on the right side. It wasn't great, but he did better. But the big one was Scan moving in and inverting on the right side. And Jansen Miller and Shapi Suleimanov didn't know what the fuck to do with that half channel run. Like, no fucking idea how to track that run. Like, over and over and over, Miller's over pursuing to the end line, allowing the run behind his back. Shoppy's just sort of standing there watching it happen, going, And Justin Reynolds is generally defending. They were using the fullbacks on the overlap and bringing those wingers inverted. And Reynolds is over there pinning that wide player to the sideline. And for some reason, fucking Jansen Miller's coming up to two-man press him. And Jack Scan's like, hey, look at all this wide fucking space. And poor Ian James is like, Yeah. All right. Was that? Yeah. So, like, there's just. It was just so bad, man. It was just so bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even with the silver linings in the San Jose game, like the goals that are given up are at the end of the day, San Jose did well, but like the goals are results of really just poor defensive play. And
I can't put that on Jansen Miller. I put that all on Jansen Miller. He didn't even play that game. It was James. It was James not following the runs.
It was James.
Anyway, those
following the runs, too much, like getting sucked all the way. And like, dude, you're the right center back. Why are you in the left half space? Like, come on, dude. That's not your job. And in fact, you know whose job that should be? Our boy LBJ. And so, like, the dominoes fall all over, right?
Right. Yeah, it was just, that's what I'm saying. As soon as they went from wide wingers to inverted wingers and just started jumping into those half spaces, Sporting did not know how the fuck to track those runs, and it just got really problematic for the rest of the game.
LBJ should know how to do that. Like, that is
Do you
in
think
jet,
they're playing as a single pivot? Because it doesn't feel like that to me when
I
I'm watching this team.
So I think, I mean, definitely an attack, right? That's kind of the idea, but it is pretty double pivoty in defense. But when your double pivot is is so this gets to sort of the problem. I think there still is no ball winning presence on the team, and
Because
there
it sure
won't.
as shit is not LBJ. He is not a
No,
ball
it
winner.
is not, and there won't be until Basong gets back, and he'll probably slot in at left back. And so, like, I while I appreciate aesthetically the idea of having like technical players in your midfield, like you gotta have a dog in your midfield, man. Like you have to, and I would gladly trade some technical ability for someone who just wins the ball.
And it looks like Wiki's hoping that's going to be Jacob Bartlett.
Man,
Like, am I reading that wrong? But I feel
I
like
no. So again, this is the same issue with the back line, right? Is that yeah? I think that that's he's not. He might not be Mr. Right. He might just be Mr. Right now, but he might develop into Mr. Right, right? And so maybe that's the approach with Bartlett is that like he's what they have right now. He's better at that job than anybody else on who's at least fit on the roster. And one thing about that guy is he will run all day and all night, and he'll just run, 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 run. And so
deep test champion.
I mean. Yep.
You don't have a problem with his fitness. That's
No.
for sure. He's one of the few that you don't really have to worry about. Yeah. Joveljic being another one. Joveljic plays the whole fucking game every goddamn game. It just doesn't seem to be an issue. But yeah, Ian looked gassed in the San Jose game maybe 55 minutes. Now, part of it is like his body posture, especially when he gets even a little bit tired. He's just like his head goes forward and his shoulders are down, and he just sort of looks like he's loafing. That same posture sort of maintained for the rest of the game, and he was still able to track runs and such. So I don't know if it is that, but he is also coming back from an injury and is not fully fit.
And he's 17. He's 17. And he was getting forward a lot. Like he would carry the ball into the midfield and even up to the attacking line, and then having to track back from that is a lot. Like hopefully if you have a young center back who's doing that, you have a defensive midfielder who's slotting back into that position and making his job easier. And that's also something we're not seeing. And like
I saw it some. I remember watching Ian do it, and I even remember watching LBJ sort of rotate back, and then eventually Bart went back there and told LBJ to go forward, which is probably a better choice in that circumstance.
I agree.
But I think that you're right. Like in general, like there's the cohesion of movement is not there. They're not recognizing each other. Mm-hmm. They're sort of all just playing their own game.
Yeah. And that's drilling, honestly. Like that's what it is.
But to your point, for the first 30-ish minutes, it did look like a team. Mm-hmm. So there was that positive, but it didn't take much for that to get upset by the opponent, and then they were disorganized again, and it was a whole lot of flailing and attempting to try to just mask over big issues when they happen. And I will say that they only allowed 3 significant scoring chances in the game. They were all just fucking tap-ins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, there is that, but again, they were too easy. The goals were too easy. Yeah. And Wiki said that after the game as well. We're just giving up too many easy goals.
When the defense breaks, they break all the way. Like they don't half-ass the breaking part.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's a similar issue. We've discussed this for a while now. When one domino falls, they all fall. Yeah. There's no one stopping the falling. And Bruce Arena kicked that first domino over at that break when Calvin Harris had the head injury, and it was on at that point.
That's what Bruce does.
Yeah, he's a good coach. And I'm not sure that Wiki's a bad coach. I just don't think he has the tools with which to try to recover after something like that disorganizes everyone like that, right? Like
Well, and
the players are not good enough. They don't have enough experience. They don't know how to pull themselves back into a game. You know what I mean? They're just
yep.
like they don't have any of those things. Also, a
That
lot of these guys have been
that
on
is
so many
veteran
bad,
leadership.
and it's also they've been on such bad soccer teams that they've never seen it happen, so they don't even know how to picture it, right? Like
Yep.
there's a lot of issues there with trying to be able to achieve that, but we're here anyway, right? And we have to. They have to figure it out. They have to. They don't have any other choice. I mean, other than just keep eating shit over and over again and be the worst team in the league.
Yep. That's it. That's it. But they have to play better, and I think that they have to play better as a group, and that needs to start happening quickly. Like, you can't just say, as fans, we're guilty of it, right? Like, Blorian, we just got to wait till Blorian gets here. Well, no, we said that about Capita, and that didn't happen. We said that about LBJ, and that didn't happen. And they need to band together and pull themselves out of this hole, and really, it has to start by minimizing mistakes, because the goals are coming from identifiable and coachable mistakes. And they need to just stop doing that, right?
I mean, we gave Kerry Zavagnin the same stick for this last year.
Yep.
Right, and so I think it's completely fair for us to be giving.
And he had a better team. Well. He had more. Yeah. He had more leaders and more veterans on his team, more talent on his team. So
yeah, but this team is worse. Like they are less talented. They are worse.
Yeah, they are worse. Absolutely, they are worse.
Maybe they're making similar mistakes, but they're worse by the numbers.
They are absolutely worse. Yeah.
I don't know what to say. They have to. They I guess came back home Tuesday night, and they're going to fly out to Vancouver on Thursday. I don't know what the hell. And I just, like, I don't know, buckle up. I mean, what's the Sam Jackson gif from Jurassic Park? Everyone hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts, yeah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have even come home, honestly. Wiki should have made him stay at like a Super 8 in Eureka, California, some hole in the wall shithole.
I mean, they could have done that in Colorado Springs, Colorado, to be completely honest.
Right.
Just left them there. Find your own way to Vancouver.
I think Colorado Springs is generally an okay city, and I've heard that Eureka Springs is not. So
I gotcha. Okay. But this is the thing. This is part of having a young team with limited experience and varying ceilings and pretty low floors, right? This kind of shit's going to happen. And it's something we have to be prepared for. It's something we're going to have to just reckon with. I said this a couple of weeks ago after they got, basically just they played themselves off the field versus RSL by just giving them the ball over and over again. And I was just like, it's similar to the U.S. men's national team. I'm being naive and expecting anything else. And so we're just going to have to go into the Vancouver game and expect them to eat shit. And of course then they'll start to look decent. And then we'll come back on the pod and say, hey, look at all the good, decent things these guys did. And they will absolutely eat shit the following week. And I do believe that we're going to have that. It's going to be that sort of sinusoidal wave of not so bad, but it's not going to be good and bad. It's going to be not near as shit, not quite so shitty and fucking terrible, right? Like that. I think that is where this wave exists on the XY graph. It is not above the Y axis. We are several or X axis. It is not above the X axis. It is several layers below that. Several integers below the X axis is where this wave exists, and it's just going to be part of our journey this year, it feels like.
Yeah. I completely agree, and what we have to hope for and what we have to cheer for is that they could get their shit together and not be a spoon team, not be a wooden spoon. We have to root for Montreal and Orlando to not get their shit together. and then hope that Lee gets his shit together in very short order.
Yeah. I do think Justin Reynolds was pretty decent in the game against San Jose. I thought he was
Yeah,
like
he's
for
fine.
one. For once, the FOTMob ratings actually sort of correlated to what I saw in the game. The two best rated guys on the team were the ones that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
I think that there is a real player inside of Ian James, and I'm really excited for him when he's like 22, but he's
Yep.
17 right now, and
Yeah.
he's doing 17-year-old shit. I mean, there were a couple times when he absolutely just got into a cage match with Preston Judd and came out with the ball.
Yep.
You can see that guy is there, right? Like I like that, but yeah, I mean, the second goal, I mean, it's a terrible decision to track that guy all the way out to the sideline. Absolutely terrible. Like, and he's going to learn from making those kind of mistakes. The whole issue with learning how to pass off runners once Scan was on his side and started making that half channel run. He would over collapse and then not know which guy to cover. You know what I mean? Like, there's just that kind of stuff, passing players off to each other. This team is very much zonally defending. So that does mean that you have to be able to hand off guys as they go in and out of your zone, and then also understand when you need to press to the edge of your zone or go out of it because that's where a guy is. He's got a lot of work to do there, like a lot of work to do there, and that is the kind of thing you'd expect a 17-year-old playing in a man's league to have problems with. Borges, similar, right? Similar kind of stuff, although Borges is definitely further along in his development than James, but I got to be honest, if these are the types of performances that we're going to see, give me James and Borges for the rest of until the summer and let them play. Because I think it will be valuable to both of them. And I think we may have some guys who could actually, kind of rotate next to Blorian when he arrives. That there you can build some quality in that line.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that, well, I'll just say this. If Wiki's going to play two center backs and it looks like that's his preference, then those are the two center backs I would prefer. Personally, just in terms of a competitive game plan, I would prefer three. But if you're going to go with two, those are the two that I want.
What do you make of him going with Miller on Tuesday instead of Bartlow?
I think that Bartlow has kind of fell out of favor after his.
He had that absolute shit performance in the first half against RSL. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Like I understand that.
That's
but
my impression.
He was also made to play left center back in a back three, which I'm not sure it's something he's ever done in his life.
I completely agree, and I would have given him the pass on that. And definitely over Miller, who is Miller. So Miller has not. I don't know. Maybe Wiki's just he's just choosing his roster by G+. Maybe that's.
You're such a dick.
Why? That's completely valid. I mean,
no, it's not valid. No coach is choosing by G+.
No, but maybe he is. Maybe that's. I'm just positing a possible explanation.
Noted G+ truther. Didn't look at that G- at all.
No,
at all. Anyway, all right. Let's move on. The Kansas City Current. They win the Teal Rising Cup again. They are the only winners of the Teal Rising Cup. Hey, look, it's a thing. They do it. I prefer them doing this in the international break than to just doing nothing. Right, I think
sure.
This is a team that needs to play together a little bit right now because they've had so many injuries and they need to build up to fitness and such. And I have no faith in Chris Armas making the right decisions on his own. So it's better that he put some players on the field and they make those decisions for him. So I think it was interesting to see kind of how, and he used a lot of first teamers in both of these matches. They absolutely smoked Palmeiras in the final. I think they were up like 5-0 in the half-hour mark. Now, don't get me wrong. They did not have 5.0 XG on those 5 goals. If they had a 1.5 XG, I'd have been surprised. But it was wild how that first half went. And the biggest takeaway for me was Haley Hopkins playing center forward. And she's been very good this year, kind of deputizing on the right wing as Cooper has kind of been in and out, coming back from injury and getting back to fitness. And I've enjoyed her kind of helping out in that role, and she's played very well. playing at center forward, again, this is not against an NWSL team. This is against Palmeiras. She still absolutely fucking dominated that game. And in a way, like playing like a center forward, not like Ali Sentner. And I want to remember when Temwa was at her best last year was when Bia was on the field playing like a center forward, being a sort of fulcrum, a hold up point, like doing the dirty center forward, occupying the center back shit that was necessary. And Bia was also very good last year when she was healthy and scored and assisted and such, but also Temwa was able to play off her. And I am thinking that maybe this is the kind of role that Haley Hopkins could provide and be a little bit more. They could get more of their spacing and their dynamism about how they attack back together in that way.
I mean, she seems like a consummate pro. Like you could slot her in at any of those places, and she will do her job, right? And so, and she'll give maximum effort. And so, I completely agree that would be worthwhile to see her play that position. I only watched the first game, and
okay.
It was entertaining. So
I didn't see much of the first game, but I saw a lot of the second game. Yeah, so because it was, when was that game, like right after Sporting played or something like that? I'm trying to remember why I was able to watch it, but was it? When was I don't know. My brain is mush. I watched a lot of soccer.
You just needed a Spurs cleanse. So
Jesus, that was probably what it was. I need a cleanse from all my teams right now. Like
Hey,
the current
man.
are the only ones likely to provide it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tuned into the Teal Rising Cup so I could find some soccer joy in my life. All right, let's move on to potpourri. What did we like in MLS this weekend? Anything that didn't involve Sporting Kansas City. That's what we liked.
Basically. Yeah, basically. I mean, the baby bulls. That was super
pretty nice.
Exciting, and
yeah, that was gonna be mine. Is the baby bulls getting Javier Mascherano fired? He didn't. That's not what happened. But anyway, it's fun to use that narrative that they did. And Adri Mehmeti looked like the real article. He's like the best. He's like the best D mid to play for either of these teams since Busquets. Like he really is. I was like, I mean, more props to Jacob Bartlett, by the way, who scored the only goal for Sporting Kansas City in the game against San Jose on a really smart run, a really smart trailing run, and a hat tip to Decky for holding the defender off and just sort of pausing, pulling it back, and then passing it behind him to free Bartlett in. It was a really nice assist by Decky. But also, Jacob Bartlett got a goal on the game and played very well. So did Adri Mehmeti. And you saw a player, just continue to have another. I mean, you guys are probably getting sick of us talking about him. He just turned 17. It's just wild how good he is at this age.
He makes Red Bull's appointment viewing. Colorado definitely still appointment viewing. Yep. I would honestly I'm very intrigued by Toronto. Josh Sargent got his first goal.
They're on at noon every Saturday, so you can watch all their games.
Yeah, exactly.
You can just kind of rotate straight from the Premier League into your Toronto FC home game.
And you don't even have to leave the couch. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. Shallowy's been playing great for them, as you noted. I've been happy for him that he's been playing so well there. And I don't know if I believe Toronto is good, but they're an interesting team to watch for sure. And I think once Sargent gets a little more settled, they'll be okay. But the problem is Mihailovic is now out for
a
while, right? Yeah. No, it's more than a month. Is it like either a cracked pelvis or something like that?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I think it's a pelvis fracture, is what they said. So I think he's going to be out for quite a while. I think it's going to be after the World Cup break before he returns. So
at this point, that's a month.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, yeah, yeah. But there's, I don't think he's going to start training until they start playing games again after that break. So I think that they're an interesting team, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they're good or not. Probably the other one that has been the most interesting to me. I keep going to Eastern Conference teams because they seem to have some of the interesting teams. Is Nashville. Nashville is playing great. I've waxed poetically about LAFC enough times, but Nashville, your boy needed to get some like away from Sporting Kansas City soccer, so I turned on Champions League or Champions Cup and watched LAFC make it through to the next round, as well as Nashville getting a 1-0 win in the new Azteca. It's not quite done yet. If you watched any of this game, it looks a little bit like the FC Dallas Stadium in Frisco. There's still some tarps on shit. They're not quite there. They're not quite. They better hurry up because it's going to be hosting some games in the World Cup here in about 6 weeks. But just still to like when they had the 0-0 draw and at home, there was some concern that they were just going to get worked when they got to Mexico. And they just played extremely tight, kept their defensive lines tight, and then, just got a moment of brilliance from Hani Mukhtar. And then with the away goals rule still existing in CONCACAF, Club America had to sort of turn the gas on to try to score two to avoid getting eliminated. And they were able to sort of withstand all of that. And they have some fun players. Patrick Yazbek, who is a guy we talked about last year who – when I heard that he was potentially a U22 signing and that maybe I think they said Sporting might be a team that would be in for him. It was definitely of the profile of player that Sporting would be in for. It ended up being Nashville. He's played very well for them. Eddie Tagseth. They have a fun midfield, man. Tagseth and Yazbek are actually a really fun midfield. And then they've got, obviously, getting Christian Espinoza and adding that to Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surridge, they're really, really good. And so Mike Jacobs, former assistant technical director of Sporting Kansas City, is doing a great job there, and as is BJ Callahan. So I mean, it's kind of fun. They're doing it the way that you would kind of think a Sporting Kansas City could do it. You know what I mean? So like when I see teams do it that way, I feel good that this is a path to success still. And it's not just Miami spending absurd amounts of money and buying guys out whenever they want, and you know what I mean. Like it is very much like you can still do this the right way, build your team the right way, and be successful. And we're seeing that for sure in Nashville.
I honestly don't know that I've watched a full Nashville game this season, and so I'll have to make sure that I fix that in short order.
Especially if Mukhtar, Surridge, and Espinoza are all starting.
Yeah.
Because what a chance creator Espinoza is, and it when you add those guys around him, like Espinoza never had that shit in San Jose ever.
No, not even close. nothing even close.
I mean, they had like Chicho there for a year. They had they've done all this dumb shit around like sort of getting these retreads in there, but they never really had something like this. And it's fun to watch when they get out, and when they play in MLS, they don't try to defend like they did it. I mean, I understand why at the Azteca on an away match you are just trying to keep it tight. That makes sense. But like BJ has them playing soccer, man. They're fun to watch. And also they have Andy Nahar, who's like my favorite right back in the league.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. So that's what I liked in MLS this week. That's what you liked in MLS this week. Javier Mascherano out of his own doing? Question mark.
So what's the of his own doing component? I don't know that I'm up on this.
Apparently, he made the decision. He made the call. He was like, "I'm out of here," and took his whole coaching staff with him. So the assumption is he got a better job somewhere.
Sure.
Which, you know what? More power to him if he did.
Yeah,
Doyle wrote about this a little bit, and I think maybe someone else did. But like the whole concept of like if you are like Miami is one of those places of constant change. They'll rip and remove and do anything with anybody at any point in time. They do not give a shit about people. They will just buy out your contract and send you along. They will do whatever. They don't care. So Mascherano using that job as a launch pad for his next job and leaving him in fucking just holding the bag, I think it's sort of sweet. Like I really do. I think
sure.
Like if they are going to treat their personnel that way, then you got to be looking out for yourself at all fucking times. And
they would move on from him in a heartbeat.
They would. They weren't going to. He was kind of. I mean, I'm not sure he's a good coach. He did make the right tactical changes in the second half of last season to make Miami a cup competitor, and they won the cup, right? Yeah. He did eventually make all those changes that needed to be made, and he turned them into a team that could compete for MLS Cup and win it. And I think that they're going to struggle to find someone that can unlock what's wrong with this roster right now.
Yeah.
And him leaving is going to make that even harder.
Yep. Xavi.
Jesus Christ. You know, Moss picked up the phone to Xavi's agent like immediately. Moss, yep. Messi's dad, picked up the phone and called
Messi Xavi himself. Messi was like, "Come on, bro."
Texted him. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do next, but you're being really naive if you don't think Messi is driving how that conversation is going.
Amen.
Pretty much himself. Matt Crocker also out now as the sporting director of the U.S. Soccer Federation to Saudi Arabia. Hope you like that money, dude. I guess. I mean, good for you. I guess. I don't know. Anyway. Isn't the whole point of like bringing in a sporting director that they're supposed to be helping you provide the long-term vision of how the federation is supposed to operate? And then if he's only here for 2 years, like what's the fucking point? Like I'm getting to the point now where I don't even care if they have one, because none of them have substantially helped change anything that they were brought in to do, which is like, sort of fix our totally fucked up youth system and try to create some sort of structure around it that is in alignment or any of that. I mean, Crocker is like has given interviews where he's like, I didn't realize it was this political and this fucked up. I'm like, dude, what? People have been saying this for 30 years. Like, he just thought they didn't know what they were talking about.
It's pretty fucked up, man.
It is. And so, hey, Saudi Arabia comes by with pallets of cash and he's like, okay, fine, I'll go over here now.
I mean, the thing is it's not like, this is the crescendo of his time with the Federation, right? It's not like it was going to get better than what it is right now. Like, he had two like really high profile, high money hires, and hosting the World Cup. I mean, the only place
he
to
didn't
go
have anything to do with hosting the World
Cup.
Sure,
no, I understand, but my point is the only place to go from here is down. Like, what was he going to do? Like,
yeah. Well, he doesn't want to have to replace Pochettino, like, and that's going to have to happen after the World Cup's over. So.
And so if your choice is that, or Saudi gives you a load of cash, like, okay, like, it's a pretty easy. If the cash is a significant driver for you, it's a pretty easy.
I'm not sure I'm moving my family to Saudi Arabia. Dude.
Oh, there's no way in hell. No. I would not be allowed to move my family to Saudi. That's a non-starter.
Right. So we need a work from home gig, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
If you're if you want me to do some sports washing, I got to do it from home.
Amen.
All right, one thing to look for. We sort of previewed this already. Sporting Kansas City heads to Vancouver Friday night. We got Viernes de Football. Is it back? I don't know, but apparently we do. I'm sure it has something to do with when Vancouver was allowed to use BC Place.
I'm sure there's probably a monster truck rally on Saturday or something.
Exactly.
Like maybe like a Nickelback concert or something.
They'll be rolling the fucking cardboard in right over the turf as soon as the game's over and fucking it all up even worse than it is.
The only thing I want is just like a basic level of competence, right? Like, I'm not even asking for a win or a draw, no points. Like, I don't care. I just want the team to not be embarrassing. That's a win for me. And if we can still get a little bit of maybe another positive game from Bartlett or James, like that would be good too. I am a little confused. We didn't really address it, but I am a little confused that Pulse Camp started last night as well. But it is what it is. I don't. It's not like I'm sitting here, rooting for the backup quarterback, right? Like I don't think that the guys that are on the
Jack
bench are any better.
is the only one healthy, so,
right. So
that might have been why. Maybe you don't want to put a 17-year-old in there.
Sure.
That may have been it.
Couldn't have been much worse, but okay.
I don't think Court Camp is gonna be any more effective at saving those shots than Pulse Camp was, but or less effective, I should say. I don't know. I'm not sure it makes much difference.
No, it doesn't make any difference. I was surprised because
I think Court Camp, the only Court Camp I think was meant to be playing with the twos all year, and the only reason that he's with the first team right now is both Cleveland and Shayway are injured.
Right.
So if
that makes sense,
that is, I think it's possible you would have seen Stephen Cleveland play in this game if he was healthy, but he isn't. So I don't know that you just need to throw Court Camp into it, especially given how the game went. It wouldn't have helped him at all. So I mean, I don't know that it makes much difference in that regard. But
so that's it from like I don't know, man. Like the laundry list of things that we need to see is just so long, right? Like, so I think that just the summation for me is just competence, just a minimum level of competence.
Confidence, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking more about like structurally how you think that this team would be most effective at sort of solidifying its defensive issues and being a little better about its midfield management as well. The only problem that I have is like the way that would work for me is sort of a 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1 kind of thing.
Yep.
I think they get fucking blitzed against Vancouver's 3-man midfield in that circumstance.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I think it's probably worth it anyway. Like if I were the coach, that's what I would do. Because I don't think that your 3-man midfield is going to really compete against theirs anyway.
Right.
So you might as well, try and make up that deficit in other areas of the field. I would prefer to see like an Ian James, Bartlow, Borges.
That would make sense to me.
Like that.
Who plays left wing back?
I think that. I mean, Reed if he's healthy.
You want Reed playing wing back?
I mean, look, does it really matter? Like he'll be okay. They'll be defensively solid if that's the case.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
and
I think
honestly,
if you do that,
I'm just,
you can I think if you do that, you can rotate back into a 4-4-2 defensively.
To be straight up honest, like it's comedy for me when he gets forward in the attacking third. Like I just giggle hysterically every time he sends a cross into the stands or so. Like it's literally comedic relief for me.
You've got to find some way to be happy watching.
I'm sure the people that sit around me are like, "What the fuck is this guy on?" Because like when it happens at Children's
giggling
Mercy,
like an idiot when Jaden Reed
like
kicks it into row H of the cauldron.
100%. It is not an exaggeration to say that I do that, and I'm sure people think it's weird, but dude, like I said, it's a comedic relief, so it's fine.
I mean, like, yeah, I can't argue with you trying to find things to have some level of levity about watching this team. So I get it.
I mean, I was giggling watching Sakiris like carve us up Saturday night. That was great, man. I really enjoyed that.
That was some passenger defending though, dude. Like, Jesus Christ.
It doesn't matter. Like he was just like
he was good, but there was moving. There was no attempt to kick the shit out of him. Like, come on, you can't just let that guy just dribble through you without.
There's nobody on the team that can do that. Like,
I mean, they can. They just stick their fucking foot out and kick him.
Shoppy would do it and get sent off immediately. We were real soft on Shoppy this podcast. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm
I sort of included it in my rant of him like being a fucking losing his fucking mind and being unprofessional. I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, I can't. We're soft on him because I can't spend every podcast talking about how much I cannot stand this fucking guy. Like, he's a nice person, and I feel bad about it. I really do. I feel bad. Like, I legitimately feel bad saying, like, I don't ever want to see him wear this jersey ever again. Like, that is the level of distaste I have for watching him play soccer. It upsets me.
And when you think about the context of his signing, it just makes it's like 10 times worse then. And it's bad to begin with. So, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Just, I mean, like I said, just immediate, like, he... I don't... Like,
I didn't mean to... Nothing.
Like, what is he good at?
Drawing fouls. That's it.
And fouling other people.
Okay.
And then, I mean, just...
I'm sorry I brought it up.
What is he good at? He's good at it turning backwards after he's received the ball. Like, that is something. He receives the ball with his back to goal all the time, then goes backwards. He receives the ball in ability to carry it forward and turns backwards. Every time it gets passed to him in an attacking sequence when he's in space, I am fucking frightened that he's just going to stop, turn backwards, and pass it to someone behind him. I just can't. I can't do it anymore. I get PTSD when he receives the ball.
I'm with you, man.
So we're definitely going to see him start against Vancouver.
Well, that's something to look forward to. Maybe it's the first time we see Kapita and Harris start together. That would be nice.
I mean, that would be nice, but I don't know if I believe it's going to happen.
No.
Unless Shoppy actually gets punished for doing what the fuck he did at the end of that game.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he probably doesn't deserve a red card for what happened. I know he doesn't deserve a red card because he didn't push the guy. But, like, if you fucking face-to-face stare down the dude and start barking at him and doing all this bullshit with the ref's back turned, all the guy's got to do is fall down.
And if he didn't deserve that red card for that, then he deserved the red card for his actions after that because he continued to just make a complete ass of himself as he was escorted out of the stadium. So
right. I mean, remember, this is the guy who got in a fight when he was playing in the Israeli league. So and was suspended for like 10 games or something like that. It was So anyway, good times. I'm sure he'll start again on Friday and make me feel great about it. I don't know what we're gonna see. I hope. I think to your point, I hope for some progress. You already stole the one that I was really gonna look for, which is more of the Bartlett I saw last Saturday.
Yeah, that would be really nice. That's something to look forward to if that's what we start to see on a regular basis.
Right, I agree. Like, if that version of Bartlett starts showing up like 75% of the time, that's a huge fucking win. Like, a huge win for this team.
Amen.
And like, he covered ground like Roger Espinoza in that game, dude. Like, it was actually enjoyable. Agreed. Like, I found enjoyment watching him play, and there's been a rare circumstance where that has been the case watching this team play. So that is what even if we get beat fucking 4-0, can I see something good?
Yep.
That is what I will be looking for. And if we happen to see something good or not, either way, we'll be back next week to talk all about it. Kvetch about it. Stadler and Waldorf about it. All of those things. And until then, I'm Drews Cody. We'll talk to you next week.
Go Sporting.
Start doing it.